let's talk about Kyle Shanahan's identity crisis. So I think it goes back to him losing the Super Bowl in Atlanta. He had a record-breaking offense. He lost the Super Bowl. He had a 25-point lead and didn't run the ball. Ever since then, he's come to the Niners, and he's been obsessed with running the ball. He wants to run the ball. But this year, as we just talked with Jimmy's playing really well. He's got all these receivers. The Niners right now rank 3rd in yards per pass, and they rank 20th in yards per run. It seems like if you were just looking at the evidence, you'd think maybe we should start passing a little bit more. Not only passing, but maybe up the passes and down the runs, considering that's what we do better now. Another thing, Kyle Shanahan wants to have an under center kind of old school offense. He wants that to be the structure, like his dad. And the last few years, it's been very effective, his under center offense. But defenses are smart. They pick up on things, and if that's what you do well, they're going to try to take it away. This year, the Niners, when they're under center, they're averaging only 4.4 yards per play. They're averaging only 3.9 yards per carry. They're completing 55% of their passes. And their quarterback rating, well, that's what you need to know. Shotgun, they're averaging 6.8 yards per play. They're averaging 5.3 yards per carry and completing 65% of their throws. So there's a clear difference. And yet we're watching this game. Kyle keeps wanting to go back under center because that's his identity. That's the identity he wants for the team. When if he would just sit back and look at the evidence, he could see, oh, okay, this team needs to be in shotgun because it's what suits our players this year. So he's kind of stuck in between what he wants to do and what he needs to do.
Right, and that's an identity crisis because I'm going to say a really good coach, and I'm not sure if he's a really good coach. A really good coach would say, I want this identity under center. There's this I can do and that I can do and blah, 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 blah. But you know what? This team is better if Jimmy is in the pistol or the shotgun. The hell with my identity. I'm going to identify the new identity and I'm going to glory in it. I'm going to get off on exploiting that and being creative within that. And Kyle has not made that transition yet. He can't bring himself to do it. And you could see him experimenting in the game. When you think this is working, he goes back the other way, and it doesn't work as hard. And that's an identity crisis. A really good coach would throw the thing out that isn't working as well. I mean, Andy Reid, do you think he'd continually knock his head on a wall? Right? He'd look for the opening. He would change fast.
And they're like, well, the Niners keep saying we can't establish a rhythm on offense. Well, you keep going back to stuff that isn't working. Like I said, they're averaging 6.8 yards per play from the shotgun. That's tremendous. That would lead the. That's outstanding. 6.8 yards per play. Why would you do anything else? And it's like, so when he's under center, what does he want to accomplish? Well, he wants to do those tosses so he can run to the outside. Well, they weren't running to the outside effectively to the right. And so if you can't do that, then it's going to be tough to run to the left. They're trying to run to the left. So that's not working so well. And then the play action passing game, they don't even do it. They tried it the one time he got sacked. So I don't see what the advantage is. When you get him in the shotgun, Jimmy's comfortable there. That's what he did in New England. He can see the field better. The runs go between the tackles. It really suits Elijah Mitchell really well. Why not? So that's a clear one. The other thing is just running the ball too much. I know you want to be a run-first team, but Jimmy's playing well, and he's not turning the ball over. And you've invested a lot of money in your tight end and your 2 wide receivers and a scat back who's a receiving specialist. Throw the damn ball. Mike McDaniel was the Niners run game coordinator over here. And everyone thought, he's a run game genius. No, he's an offensive genius, if I could throw that word around. He's in Miami right now passing the hell out of the ball. He has a running background, but he's like, oh, I got this receiver, that good. No, we're going to pass. I'm going to do what works for these players, not what worked for me in the past, not what I want to do ideally.
Right. I won't try to fit them into my system. I'll fit my system into them. And McDaniel doesn't have a particularly great quarterback.
No, he's got left-handed Jimmy, and they scored 39 this week.
Left-handed Jimmy. I like it.
He's got left-handed Jimmy. Nothing against because Jimmy's playing well.
So there's a theme to what we're saying here. We're saying clearly Jimmy is not the problem. We're talking only about offense. If there's a problem, if there's a break on the accelerator, it's the play caller.
Yeah. Like the Niners will be in the shotgun, moving the ball really well, running between the tackles, throwing quick passes, and all of a sudden Kyle needs to get them all under center, do 18 motions so they can pitch the ball and lose 3 yards. Like, thanks a lot, Kyle. Could we just keep doing what was working? What are you doing? Oh, you need to insert yourself into the game. Oh, no, it's about me now. Let's get under center, do 8 motions. No, it's week 11. There's a lot of stats, a lot of evidence in. Just do what works. Because what's crazy is a lot works for you. A lot is working. And you keep trying to force other stuff.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Is it just a failure of comprehension, or is he letting his ego get in the way?
I think he's a stubborn egomaniac.
Maybe not. Stubborn egoist.
Egoist. Yes.
Can we say that?
Yes. I think he's stubborn.
Maybe in the next press conference, you should say, Kyle, are you a stubborn egoist?
Some people would say you're an Some people would say you're an egomaniac. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not saying it. Heaven forbid.
But I've heard people say
it. Some people would say you're a stubborn egoist.
Crusher 831 says, do you see that Jacob Eason signed to the practice squad? Yeah, poor Kurt Benkert. They cut Kurt. I liked Kurt. Poor Kurt. Lucas Bissell says, I learned that the use of is often in order to not take pauses in your sentences to sound more intelligent, but it often has the opposite effect. Like you're really trying to carefully consider your next word.
That's what I think he's doing. That's what I think.
But we got to work on our Kyle Shanahan impression by just
and our ums.
Throwing more ums in there. Impor says, from the upcoming schedule, what team would the Niners have to beat either by blowout or last second field goal would it take for you to give them their flowers? They have a 3-game stretch in a few weeks that will be, not the hardest in the world, but it'll be against some potential playoff teams. It's Miami, Tampa, Seattle. That'll be the stretch that we'll learn some things about this team. Good question.
That's very important, and it might even be season defining.
I
don't feel, for example, the Mexico City game is going to be season defining unless they lose it.
No, it's another opportunity to take care of business at minimum, establish a standard at best, but really don't get embarrassed by Colt McCoy for the second year in a row, because you did last year. Chris Grove says Jimmy Garoppolo 10-2 when he throws 0 touchdowns. He's the guy on the group project that contributes nothing, but still gets an A+ in the assignment. Hold on. Maybe the reason he doesn't throw touchdowns is because Kyle has no idea what he's doing in the red zone. He had a touchdown run, and he had some nice third down conversions. Jimmy's carrying his weight right now. I'm not going to say that about Jimmy right now. Maybe next week. Does Kyle finally get over 500 after this season? He's 2 games under, Dad. He could get there.
He could get there.
I think he will.
He could get there.
And we'll throw him a parade when he gets there.
Well, I was going to say, it's taken him long enough.
Yeah! It's like he graduated college in 6 years. 6 years down the drain.
6 years of college down the drain.
Crow says you rolled your eyes, Grant, when I said Brian Griese was doing good. Hey! I take it back. Let me unroll my eyes. It seems like he's doing a good job with Jimmy Garoppolo, teaching him how to throw the ball away. Good job, Brian. Keneal says Jimmy's playing more confident than Kyle is coaching. Like I said in the Cohn phone, Kyle seems insecure. He misses his safety blanket, McDaniel. Jimmy does exude much more confidence than Kyle. And it's the ums. Jimmy doesn't say That right there.
I would say, speaking of there are very few players on the team who say
Yeah.
Most of them,
it's a bad habit. It's like biting your fingernails.
Yeah, like, do you ever have a teacher that did like it could be a history teacher. It was telling you about, the Renaissance or something, and they go and you're in your chair, you're slinking down, you're just like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Matt Gillum says that the quarterback coach the reason for Jimmy's play. Brian Griese couldn't hurt.
But the thing is, who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not
Steve
there.
Says,
I don't talk to them.
Can we bench McTurnstile and play Womack Gray? Well, Gray hurt himself in pregame warmups. I don't know how you do that. Never heard of that. Womack seems like he should probably be playing nickel. Ward seems like he should probably be playing safety. McTurnstile, yeah, I feel you on that. This might be Jimmy's Trent Dilfer year, an average player that's been holding a great mix of talent back but puts together that one magical season. Is Jimmy Trent Dilfer or is Kyle Brian Billick? I don't know.
Brian Billick was a coach, but he used to be the PR guy at the 49ers.
That's true. I've never heard of a PR guy becoming a coach.
Yeah.
I interviewed him once for half an hour. He's really nice. Really nice guy. Manders on Xmas Eve, still an easy win. The Commanders. All of a sudden, that does look like a game that could be a game. Who knows?
Oh, the Niners play the Commanders. I would have liked the Senators or the Generals. Those would have been better names than the Commanders.
My friend Kevin Room. Well, some people were saying the Pigskins. I think that's kind of corny, though.
I like the Washington football team.
I like the football team. It's unusual.
Yeah.
Brandon Pinn says Jimmy has improved under pressure outside the numbers, ability to know when to throw the ball away and accuracy. My observation. Who gets the credit? Him. How about him?
And
about
also,
Jimmy?
Because what's hidden in that question is, does Kyle get the credit? Does Greasy get the credit?
All of them.
We don't know. But we
It's a
don't know
team,
what
all of
they're
them.
saying to him. Yeah, they're
true.
one happy family.
Mark Lamar says for Cowherd to say Kyle is in the way is hilarious. Hey man, I don't really agree with Cowherd that much, but I think there's a point to it. I think there's some truth to the fact that Kyle is in the way right now.
This Cowherd guy, what did he say?
He said that Jimmy's doing great and that Kyle's holding him back. I feel like Cowherd's talking to Jimmy's agent or something because every week he has all the Jimmy Garoppolo talking points. But anyway, yeah.
We've had a moratorium today on talking about Trey Lance. Could we have a moratorium for the rest of the season on this guy, Cowherd?
Yeah, please.
Because, well, if he ever shows up at the 49ers,
one time,
then I think it's fair to talk about him, about what he said. But since you've never met the guy in person, have you?
No.
So let's have a moratorium on him.
808 Niners says the problem with the offense is their red zone. They just leave too many points in the field instead of CMC on the goal line, TDP, or God forbid, Jordan Mason or Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, they got inside the 10-yard line 5 times in this game and scored 2 touchdowns. Not good enough. Eddie Marcos 916 says after last night at Warriors game, it's clear to see the locker room is divided. Really? Why? Because what they got clicks in there? I don't know.
Are we talking about the Warriors?
Man.
Is that a Warriors comment?
No. Christian McCaffrey, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Juszczyk, and Kittle sat courtside at the Warriors game last night. And a couple nights ago, Ayuk and Debo sat courtside. So I guess he's trying to say that there's 2 factions. Maybe they just couldn't get 6 courtside seats together. I don't know. Jesse Jr. says, is it me or who thinks that on that hurry-up play that led to the touchdown, Jimmy called that shot and just did it himself? Maybe.
That's a question to ask the coach.